Be There Still by Davido. Good morning. Good morning, Malabites and Malaverses. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, friends and foes. Good morning, mummies and daddies. You're tuned into Unico 103.5 FM, the only station that offers you the best of education, information, and of course, entertainment. 360, we love to call it infotainment. Today is another beautiful day right here in the beautiful city of Calabar. Today is Wednesday, and it is the 6th day in the month of May 2026. How are you feeling, my neighbors? I hope that your day is off to a fantastic start. What are you up to? How did you sleep as well? Did you have a fantastic sleep? What is the life situation in your area? But before we go to get into all that detail, my name is Vine Henshaw. They call me Hebrew Vine, actually. And, I'll be your morning companion right here in the morning boss. We're going to go 103.5 FM. My job is really simple. Just to keep you informed, educated, and entertained as you commute to work, commute to school, as you just get on with your daily activities. I'm just here to give you the very best of information, education, and of course, entertainment. 360, we'd love to call it infotainment right here on Unico 103.5 FM. Like you already know, this is the Morning Bus Show on Unico 103.5 FM, the only show that ensures that you stay updated with current affairs, politics, governance, weather focus, health, everything that you need to start your day right. We've got you covered right here on the show. Like you already know, I don't do this alone. I do this with the amazing gang, and today we're going to ensure that we give you the best as always. I'm here with Bobby Thompson and Sharon in the studio. Good morning, guys, and welcome once again. Today, I'm not happy to see you guys. I know that I told you guys yesterday I was happy to see you guys. Today, nah.
You're not okay.
Nah.
Yeah, probably I put on a little touch of blue, and she did. I really.
I think that's the reason. I think that's the reason. There's too matchy for my liking.
Why?
Okay, so
Don't say why.
Yeah, good.
Because I actually wanted to wear blue today. Why
and you guys blew each other away.
We blew each other away.
Really?
So, Arsenal actually did the unthinkable last night, and I know some persons will not actually be happy. I don't know if that is why you're not happy though. Arsenal, my team, we won yesterday. Yeah,
she's a Chelsea girl.
I'm a Chelsea
okay,
girl.
she's a Chelsea. Yeah, anything that win automatically belongs to me, and I belong to the winning team. So yesterday I defected to the Arsenal team. Yeah,
so you're the picture of the Arsenal.
Yeah.
Nothing. They don't say anything. How are you? How are you guys feeling this morning?
Good morning, Malabites and Malaverses. Good morning to our very own listeners all over the world. It's such a beautiful time to be here once again. Talking about Wednesday. Thank God it's Wednesday. So fast, and I think the month.
Is it fast? I don't think it's fast. It's so slow. Jesus, we're in Wednesday. If it was April, by now we're in Friday.
Don't worry. Probably you haven't touched an activity that will cause you to feel like the month is so fast. Yeah, but for me it's fast. Yeah, it's fast.
The activity that I'm touching right now, I don't want the month to even be slower than this because Jesus Christ, the tasks are too much.
Oh, shame.
I have a lot on my plate, but we'll sign up for it at the end of the day.
Yeah, sure, right? Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, yeah. Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Thompson. Good morning to everyone listening in. As you can see, I'm fine. I am. All right.
What's that cockiness?
There should be rationale behind that. Yeah.
I say impression. I'm fine actually. Yesterday went really well.
Of course, yeah.
And it was.
Yes, it did.
Yes. It was fine.
What?
Fine. See, it's alright. It's fine.
Well, I'm just agreeing with you.
Funny how you may be surprised actually with the outcome of what you are thinking about.
Now, what's your guarantee that I'm thinking about what you think I'm thinking about?
Don't worry. don't worry. Hey, yesterday too, I saw Met Gala outfits, and they said the theme was art.
Fashion is art.
Exactly. And I was disappointed in most of the celebrities I saw.
Well, the thing is,
I was watching from my phone.
That's the thing. They said fashion is art, right? You cannot tell an artist how to paint their canvas, right? Some things that looks ridiculous was actually a
no, I'm not talking about the ridiculous ones. I'm talking of the common, like the simple ones.
That's the thing. It's literally a what's it called now? A real life interpretation of or adaptation of a painting.
Yeah.
So you can see like a very basic dress, and it's actually a painting. They're just depicting what was on that painting.
But most of them were boring.
Well, it's art. Art can be boring.
As compared to last Met Gala.
Well, it had different themes. It had a different theme.
So
we're trying to be on theme.
I feel like the only ones I picked.
Art can be boring sometimes, you know.
Yeah, sometimes. But
relatively.
But like, see, I felt like yesterday I was talking to one of our colleagues and he was trying to interpret the outfit of one of them. Like he was trying so bad. I was like, you see, the person they put it off for, because if you are trying so hard to tell me the interpretation of this art, that means another person look at it and be like, it's just another clothing. I think the celebrities I picked out on my nights were Rihanna, Beyonce.
Yeah, Beyonce was nice.
Yeah, who again did I pick out? Dancing disappointed me. Oh god, that fine boy disappointed me. Like, it was just so basic.
He just wore fabric.
Yes,
that's all.
It was just so basic. I was like, why? And I saw Dolce's own too. Dolce's hair was more covered than her body.
It was tacky in so many ways. But that's not what we're talking about right here. This is not the fashion police game.
Yeah. When I was driving through my phone, I just wanted to let people know. And actually, I came up with an idea in my head, but I'm not a celebrity, so let me do my own.
You see, the idea that I came up with, they will drag you in your time range. They will tell you it's boring. It's not arty enough.
The idea I thought of was, art is not just in paintings. There are different kinds of art in music, basically. So the art was like focused on music. If you're an Afrobeat person now, it could be that your design shows all these musical symbols basically, and it's shooting out so like that. I saw this lady's dress was bubbles. I was bringing out bubbles. That one is now creative, but then I could not depict the art there.
So this is general money. Look how. Anyway, how are you feeling this morning? It's a new day. What are you up to? Are you already on your way to work, on your way to school? What are you up to this morning? Let us know. How's your area this morning as well? You guys, I have updates. So remember that I said something about the refuse at my street that has not been picked up.
Yeah.
Guess what? There's update. Guess what? Come on now, give me something.
It's still there.
Wow, I love how Sharon has mastered my sarcasm so well that she knows it.
I was raised by sarcasm lord.
Because the ones in my street has already covered almost half of the road. So I literally know that you were actually heading there. Because if there is anyone to be picked within the South at this point in time, then you should start from the nearest lesser axis. But here we have it keep growing. So it's growing.
So that means it's not just a one street thing.
No, it's not. It's just
a metropolis thing.
Yeah.
That's pathetic. That's very pathetic. When I was passing, I had to hold my breath for like 1 minute because of how long it is. I had to hold my breath and pass there. And it's not healthy and it's not a good sight to behold. And here I was thinking that maybe it was just my street that was, unfortunate. But I'm so confused as to why it has to be all over across the state, like all over Calabar, per se. Because if you stay around Marion, right, Thompson, if Marion can have refuge all over, littered all over the place, then no place is safe anymore. No place is safe. And the tree I told you guys about that fell around what's it called now? Mount Zion by Yangidem. Up until now, that tree is still there. My question is it that the people that are responsible for this pickup, they're not aware or they're not alert? That's my question, because I want to believe that there be a few calls to these agencies, Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Urban Development. At least 1 or 2 persons must have called and said, okay, this is the situation, or even send them a photograph. This is the situation of things here. We need you to come and pick up the thing. Because at the end of the day, that tree there can cause an accident, and I'm not even kidding. We just finished we've never finished actually, the whole Odukbani thing because of an accident, the back road. Now we have a tree obstructing vehicles from passing. That there could cause an accident. Please, my goodness. I'm calling on the government that cares so much about the people. I'm calling on the people first governor to look into these agencies and be sure that they're actually doing their jobs. Because sometimes you might just, because of how busy your schedule is as the governor, right? You might be so busy and, you don't have the time to look into these agencies and be sure that they're actually doing what they're supposed to do. Yeah. So please look into these agencies, be meticulous enough to, ask for reports and also ask for people to go out and actually confirm, because I can come and tell you, I've done something, but I've not actually done nothing. But if you have someone that goes out to actually confirm that this thing has been done, it's better because that tree cannot be there. A driver was telling us in the cab that there was one that fell around at Timbo Axe and it was there for a month. The tree, and it was a very big tree that fell.
Yeah, time
was
rain
there.
fell.
You were there.
I was there for a while. I think that rain fell. It really toppled a lot of trees. And I was there for a while before they finally stopped.
Did it cause any accidents at any time?
I don't think so. Because people avoided it.
Okay, but sometimes, right? If I'm not conversant with the particular area, let's say at Timbo area, and I just come, maybe these reckless drivers that we have in the city of Calabar just come and you think it's just a normal road that and that could cause an accident. So the government should look into it. The agency for the Urban Development Agency, the Ministry of Environment, they should do something about it. Please, it's not a good sight. I will say this over and over again. It's not a good sight. It's not a good reputation for the city of Calabar. Like I've always been saying, we are reputed to have the cleanest and the greenest city.
Yeah.
But we that live in the city, the funny thing, sometimes when we hear people from outside say, "Oh, Calabar is so clean and so good," we're like,
Let's just keep quiet. Let's just keep quiet.
It's more like we have season of cleanliness and season of being dirty, and I think we've now gotten to the season of dirtiness, and it's really not healthy. It's not hygienic. It's not a good sight to see. I just hope that the government does something about it as soon as possible, because one thing about refuse is it's not going anywhere. As long as there's no recycling process whatsoever, it's not going anywhere. So it's always going to be there. Even if we go and pick these particular ones now, give it 2 weeks. What am I saying 2 weeks? Give it 1 week. It's filled again. And the cycle keeps going on and on and on and on and on again. So the people that are responsible for picking this refuse should be on standby. They should have a routine. Okay, every Friday we're going to pick up the refuse. So that there's somebody that, let's say there's somebody from the government house that goes around every Friday to ensure that these people are actually doing their jobs. But there's another angle at the end of the day. What if these people are ready to do their jobs, but they are not getting enough funding to do their jobs? Because sometimes I see them pick refuse and I'm sad, because why are you doing this kind of hazardous job with your bare hands? Yeah. It's so sad to watch. I grew up in Calabar, right? When I started seeing these people pick refuse, they were always so
heated.
Exactly. Like their gloves, their face mask, their boots, like you could not see any skin. Right, but now there's no gear, like there's no protective gear whatsoever. They just come, use their bare hands, no nose mask, nothing.
They have turned to Amanisong dustbin. Usually when it's like that, it means you're too used to.
No, you can't be used to something that hazardous.
They make it look as if it's just like barbers. Sometimes you don't see them with aprons, so they feel like they are used to the hair now. What is there? And also talk about it. Yeah, it's still the same thing. It's based on all of those skills.
I understand that context.
Hairdressers are supposed to actually, prevent yourself, right? But they feel like, I've done this for years. It's just like drivers. When you tell them, Oga, you calm down now. You say, do you know how many years I've been in this job? So it's still the same thing applicable to them. But however, that is so risky. We're saying our government should actually make proper provisions for you out there, who is actually working with this agency to ensure that you have your hand gloves. Okay, you have good medical services. There should be emergency, how do they call it, first aid box in there. But trust me, you will not get something like that. In case of sharps or anything gets you injured, they should be able to actually administer first aid treatment. But in this case, it's not like that. So it's
people that die. Let's be honest. People that for us that know about the dangers of this,
and how happy you see them. Sometimes after even loading, you see them sitting on top of it.
I passed one when they were loading, and
very excited.
Yeah, they were
and relaxed.
Like, fine, how are you? Like I greeted them. I was like, good afternoon. I was like, fine, how are you? How are you doing? Like normally they were doing their job, smiling and laughing. And I passed them. I was like. And they were not kitted them. First thing, they will cover their hair and then they'll wear boots. That's the first thing they'll do. But you see their hands, they're packing it, they'll use the shovel and then they'll use their hands to pack it also. Which is very, very, very sad to see. Because they could get injured, they could get infected by something. Anything could happen basically, and then it's actually very disgusting.
It is disgusting, and the fact that you're also inhaling these things. It's more. Do they even have sense of proper smell anymore? Because that's how you're going to inhale rubbish for a very long time.
They have sold it. They have sold it to the dustbin because what?
It's rather pathetic. It's very, very.
Yeah,
very
it's just like
pathetic.
some people who have is this symptoms of malaria, or those who have issues with their nose, like they can never smell anything. Like no matter how toxic the stuff is, they can't even. In fact, it will look as if they are using spray.
Well, that one is toxic. So imagine how your nose is used to toxicity and you cannot smell anything good.
Yeah.
Which one is worse?
They have gotten to that level.
It's very pathetic. I just hope that the government and these agencies look into their welfare, because that's the kind of job that not everybody can do. So the few people that are willing to do the job, they're supposed to treat them very, very well. Sometimes when you go and find out their pay, you will cry. You are going to cry, I promise you. But
But yet the government will not pay them. They will owe them for months and all of that. So it becomes a huge problem.
Painful. Yeah. Sometimes when I see that this refugees all over the place, I want to be angry at them, but I'm like, at the end of the day, if they have the money and the resources to actually come and do their jobs, they'll do their jobs. But when they are not getting proper funded, when they are being owed by the government, what do you expect? They're just going to stay back and watch everything litter around the state.
And it wasn't like this before now, no. Because if you look at most of our gutters, water runways in the state, you see how dirty they seem to be, and many have been blocked. It wasn't like that before now. So I just wish that we'll be able to have the governor and the commissioner for environment, actually the Ministry of Environment as well, wake up to his expectation. Like I keep having problem with people getting free monies for not doing something, and then people being paid for agencies that are not actually actively working, So if you're paying people money in an agency, so we should see why you are paying them and all of that. So that becomes a huge problem. That's why I keep saying that I'm one person who does not subscribe to people getting free money for any reason. So it shouldn't be. So government should be held accountable. And that's why it also brings us to what? Accountability. Yeah. So how do you spend this money? You budgeted this money for environment and all of that. How are you spending this money? For the past how many years now? Trust me, the previous administration have been budgeting money for environment, and we'll talk about tree plantings here. You see most of the trees in Calabar, we're talking about breaking down and all of that. It is time and overdue time for them to be replanted, right? And heal down these ones, bring more new ones and all of that. But it doesn't seem to be like that any longer. That's why you see some of them, the trees get tired and then they feel like they need to break. And then sometimes it breaks on top of people's roofs, sometimes on top of electricity, cables, and sometimes on people's, vehicles and all of that. So it becomes a huge problem. But I don't know why the government is just sidelining that part of the Cross River State beauty, sightseeing, and all of that. So if you also go down to Marina Resort, it's still the same thing. We're not seeing all of those beauty charming trees that we usually have before now. They have hewn them down all and building houses close to the road. It shouldn't be so. That was why initial plan was that you give a particular amount of meters before you start building your shops and all of that. But these days, they cut down trees and build shops around the roadside. And it's not helping matters. And the same thing is also happening even in Unica. We expect that most of these trees should have been planted. That's why I keep having issues with student union government bodies, especially directors of welfare and the SUG president and vice president. Issues like this, I have never seen or witnessed where, it is tree planting day, international day for planting a tree and all of that. You mobilize students and say, okay, let's get this done. Okay. And the other day we talked about, have releasing funds for student union government to do one of their two activities and all of that, which is okay. But you, on the other hand, what activity have you been able to engage the student to do in the University of Calabar? I'm not seeing those things happening. So if you do your own part, the management will do its own part at a free time. You don't need to pressurize the management to release funds. Just start something and then the management will see to it and they'll get things done. So that is what it should be. But however, I think we'll get there someday anyway. We'll get there someday. And when we get there, everything is going to be better.
Someday down the long. Anyway, how are you doing this morning and what are you up to? What is happening in your area this morning? What is the light situation? What is the refuse? The thing is, when we have one thing, they'll take another thing. We have lights now. Oh yeah, there's been
They brought the light this morning. They didn't even, like, it was, I think, 20 minutes. They took it. And they didn't bring it to, like, left the house.
Oh, chill. Sorry.
On your journey.
Anyway, what are you up to this morning? What is happening in your area this morning? What is the light situation in your area? What is the refuse situation in your area? Do you have refuse all over the road in your area? Let us know this morning. 0809 4444 058. I'll take that again, 0809 4444 058. You can send an SMS to that number or send a WhatsApp message to that same number, and we're going to take it right here on the show. Ensure that you tell us your name and where you're calling us from this morning. 0809 4444 058. I'll take that again, 0809 4444 058. Time check is 51 minutes past the hour of 7, and we're going on a music break. When we come back, we're going to move to the weather forecast segment right here on the show. I will leave you in the hands of Davido featuring Faye. This one says, Kante, do not move away from your radio set. We'll be back before you know it. Kante by Davido featuring Faye, one of my favorite songs. Anyway, this is still the Morning Buzz Show right here on 123.5 FM, the only station that offers you the best of education, information, and of course entertainment. 360, we love to call it Edu Infotainment. Time check is 55 minutes past the hour of 7, and right now we're moving straight to the next segment of the show, which is the weather forecast segment. Now, like I said earlier, today is the 6th day in the month of May 2026, and it is Wednesday. And expect a warm, humid day with cloudy skies and high chance of rain, especially from midday into the evening. Temperatures will stay within the typical Calabar range, with moisture-heavy air and possible thunderstorms. Now, in the morning from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m., temperature will range from 24 degrees Celsius to 28 degrees Celsius. Rain chance will be moderate, around 40 to 55%. Conditions, we have cloudy with light showers possible in some parts of the city. Tips, if you are stepping out early, carry an umbrella. Roads may be slightly wet as well. Afternoon from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Temperature will range from 29 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius, and rain chance around 60 to 75%. That's a very high chance. The condition will be warm, humid, and unstable. Expect scattered thunderstorms or heavier showers. Tip, plan movement wisely. Afternoon downpours may cause delays and slippery roads. Now, in the evening from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m., temperature range from 25 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius. And the rain chance, we have moderate to high from 50 to 65%. The condition will be cloudy with chances of lingering showers or a late night thunderstorm. And the tip is, if you'll be out at night, secure transportation ahead of time. Rainfall may slow traffic. Now, the general summary is temperature rate will range from 24 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius all through the day. Now, the rain chance, you have moderate to high throughout the day, strongest in the afternoon. Now, the general advisory, expect a typical wet season day in Calabar. Keep rain protection close. Plan movement around possible afternoon storms and stay hydrated due to high humidity. If driving, be cautious. Visibility may reduce due to heavy showers. That is the weather forecast for you right here on the Morning Boss with 103.5, the radio station that offers you the best of education, information, and of course entertainment 360. So ensure that you plan your day accordingly. If you're stepping out, go out with an umbrella, with a raincoat, with anything that you prefer that keeps you protected from the rain. Ensure that you step out with it because of course, we don't want you drenched. We don't want you, falling ill. We don't want the rain beating shaking out of you. So ensure that, you step out with an umbrella. Ensure that you're well prepared for the rain today. Well, that's much going to take on the weather focus segment. We'll be back to the music. When we come back, Obi Thompson will take us through the exchange rates today right here on the show. I will leave you in the hands of Faceless and Serotonin. This one says, thanks. The number boy from the radio settled back before you know it. Venice by Faceless and Serotonin. Welcome back from that short break. Time check is 8 o'clock on the DOT, and it's still the morning bus right here on Unico 103.5 FM, the only station that offers you the best of education, information, and of course, entertainment. 360 will also call it a do infotainment. Before the break, I told you that when we come back, Obi Thompson will take us through the exchange rates this morning. You can still keep your calls coming in. When we were on break, we saw, calls, tripping in. You can keep your calls coming. What's happening in your area? What are you up to? Is there lights in your area? Is there unpacked refuse in your area? Let us know this morning. 0809 4444 I'll take that again. 0809 4444 You can send an SMS to that number or send a WhatsApp message to that same number. We want to know what is happening in your area this morning. So, Obi Thompson, take us to the exchange rate segment right here on the show.
Okay, so welcome to that very segment where just like we talked about the weather forecast, and so if you want to buy umbrella, you want to roof your house, you want to do some of these things, you just need to know how much it's going to cost you, especially if you want to make all of these if you want to go and buy umbrella, they tell you, this is Nigerian made, this is imported and exported. Okay, so right away here we'll start with the Danish krone, which is just one Danish krone is costing Nigeria 200 and 13 naira, and then one Swiss francs is costing Nigeria 1,744 naira, and then one Saudi riyal is costing Nigeria 364 naira. One West African CFA is costing Nigeria just 2 naira, and so one Japanese yen is costing Nigeria 8 naira, and then one Chinese yuan is costing Nigeria 200 naira. So just like we said yesterday, was around 199 naira. So today it has actually gained more muscle. And then one South African rand has been for a long time now, been at 80, 97, 80, and 81, has now gained more muscles. Now is selling for 82 naira for just one South African rand. Instead of with this current situation, we should have their currency devalued in our country. But here we have us. If you must have to do business with South Africa at this point in time, so it's going to cost you more, rather than costing you less. But however, £1 is costing Nigeria 1,852 naira. Beg your pardon. I'll take that again. One pound sterling is costing Nigeria 1,852 naira. So unarguably, it has actually increased. It has actually gained more muscles. Yeah, I use the word muscles because if you look at how the economy or how the market is actually growing, you see that our Nigerian currency, it's really crying. It's really crying so loud. And well, I don't think anybody is just willing to help out. And then €1 is costing Nigeria 1,598 naira. 1,598 naira. So just one euro. And then one US dollar. Oga have decided to increase again from 135 to 166. Okay, so one US dollar is costing Nigeria 1,366 naira, and that's so much, and that's why these days you see that phones that are so cheap, that should have been very, very, very cheap to get, it's so expensive, to actually get, and especially those who actually want high, mobile techs that have high kind of components and all of that. All right, so that's pretty much what we're doing from the exchange rate segment of the morning boss show. My name is Obi Thompson. Up next is the national holidays, but we'll take over from there with Fine.
All right, Thompson, thank you very much. You've had the exchange rate today. If you want to hear more about the exchange rate, ensure that you keep it locked right here with 123.5. Now we'll go back to the music, because when we come back, we're going to move straight to the national holiday segment. But remember that you can send us a message or call us and let us know what's happening in your area this morning. Let us know the situation in your area this morning. 0809 4444 I'll take that again. 0809 4444 You can send an SMS to that number or send a WhatsApp message to that same number, and we're going to take it right here on the show and show you, let us know where you're calling us from and what your name is. We're going to play very soon by Benson and Fola. The number 40 for the radio set will be back before you know it. Fala, welcome back from that short music break. Time check is 7 minutes past the hour at the 8, and you're still tuned into the Morning Bus Show right here on Miracle 103.5 FM, the only station that offers you the best of education, information, and of course, entertainment. 360, we love to call it Edu Infotainment. Okay, we have a message this morning from great man Jeremiah, and he says, I'm having this problem with flood in this town. The state government should do something about it. We can't keep paying tax and our streets are flooded with water. We keep complaining about it, but nothing is done about it at Ikotansa and Ikotishi axis. They are not working. Okay, thank you very much, great man, for calling, for sending the text message. We really do appreciate, and keep listening to Unico 123.5 FM. Now, this morning we're talking about the refuse and the fallen trees in Calabar. Now this is another situation. On Monday, it rained heavily on Monday, right? I'm trying to remember the particular day, and it was so flooded around Ifite axis. Somebody actually made a video, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, that's what really happens there.
Wait, it's always Tell me something I don't know.
One is heavy rain.
Okay.
I remember the last time this thing happened, there was heavy rain, and then the bus drivers were avoiding that spot, causing making the pedestrians to be at risk. And then you have to like walk past it. You have to remove your shoes to walk past it first. But I know that area most of the time is always flooded when there's rain, when there's excess like heavy rain. So I'm not even surprised.
But that's something that's the problem, right?
Yeah, I think I also had a rumor some time ago that the state government have mapped that place to a serious renovation. So I don't know why it's taking them time and why up till now nothing has been said to be done, because there was
we are approaching rainy season.
Yeah, and then don't forget these gutters were actually made so many years ago and all of that. I keep saying that, let's say the military era or the military regime didn't do any of these things in the States. Trust me, today, most of us would have been living in trees, or probably building houses as if we are in China and all of those countries like that. Or probably, how do they call it? Bayelsa State, and most of those places where they have to pin sticks or make a kind of pillars before they now build their house on top, like nets and all of that. So it would have been that disastrous in Cross River State. And also, we talked about people, stopping to put refuges in our waterways, and that is just one of the key things. If you look at those waters, a lot have been blocked.
So there's a policy that if you're found dumping refuse in the water, in the drainages, that you're going to pay a certain fine. But if you're a child, you're going to, take the task force to your parents or your ward, your guardian rather, and they're going to pay a certain fine. So far, so good. I've not head that
anyone have been arrested. Anyone
I have
been
seen people separately dumping refuse in the drainages.
I keep saying this now. In my street, you see there's a particular where the local government vice chairman is staying. If you see just in the gutter, just there in his compound or in a compound, whatever it is, you will see fresh refuse being dumped inside there, right there. And I keep getting worried. What's the problem?
Bypass access. The left side of the road, they don't just dump refuse, they also defecate into the gutter.
Oh wow.
So, and when you pass there,
open defecation is another big problem of its own, because a lot of landlords will never have to build up,
There's this very foul smell there, and mind you, there's DSS on that road. There's federal government calling on that road. There's a particular, I think, I've forgotten the name of the government agency, but I know it's close to the airport. But I know it's government owned. There's quarters there. What's the name of the place? It's before.
Are you sure it's not fan quarters where they are staying?
Maybe
it could be fan quarters. Yeah,
it's possible. Then they are at the left. They are close to the gutter direct, and then after them, DSS is on the right. After DSS, federal government, huge government properties are there. Yet these gutters are they're piled up with a lot of things. You just look into it. If you're somebody that is very that is squeamish, you will throw up instantly, because you don't just dump refuse there. They defecate into that place too.
And I heard that this defecation is maybe, they have a particular, for people that don't have toilets in their homes, they have a particular bucket that they, defecate in. And when it's full, they pour it into the gutters.
I'm wondering where they
didn't go there because sometimes we'll not even eat when we start looking at the kind of robbers you're talking about. Hello.
Well, it's very sad, right?
Yeah.
Like we always say on the show, it's one thing for government to make policies. It's another thing for them to actually have strict regulation of these policies, for them to actually implement these policies. Because like I said, it's one thing to say, okay, do not dump refuse until it's 6 to 10 p.m. Well, have you also made a policy that, okay, when it's so and so time, these refugees should be carried, should be picked up? There's no policy like that. So any policy that, is relating to the people, it's always very strict. But when it's facing the government, there's always dilly-dallying. There's always, there's always a zonto around. No, that's the truth. Because if you say, okay, by 6 p.m. every Friday, from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. every Friday, all the people responsible for picking refuse should do their jobs and ensure that all the receptacles are empty, and you have somebody going around to ensure that that job is done. That way, you're being strict on your own policy as the government, and you're being strict on the policy made for the citizens. But when you're strict about the policies for just the citizens, and when it comes to your own part, you're not so strict, then there's a problem.
But you wouldn't expect the government to actually do that, because after all, the citizens themselves are also helping the government. On the other hand, this election period, right? It is a time for you to show to the government that, look, you have not done well, so there's no way we should support you. But here you will not see that. Rather there will be singing in your Monday we shall stand and all of those things. So that is why we're having the same situations all over repeating itself. And these guys feeling like, of course, it is when they do anything, it is a right, okay? It is a right that, or it's like they are doing you a favor for them to do something. Because when they do it, it is same you that will go and appreciate them, sing praises, shower praises and all of that. Not minding if it is something that it is your right as a citizen for these things to be done. So you just send them there. We're not supposed to be begging any government official to do anything. We're talking about electricity, we're talking about our roads, we're talking about this, we're talking about that, our hospitals and all of that. So we shouldn't be begging them to do these things. The money is there, not as if you're coming with your family money or we ask you to go and sell your family properties to come and, fund anything. This is our taxpayers' money. For crying out loud, every day my bank deducts money from me and they tell me it's tax. And, not to talk about, the government this, the government that. I'm paying. Do you understand? So, and then at the end of the day, the government put all of these monies they get from all of us and give to a state governor to say, go and do this. And he goes to do it. Somebody will wake up from nowhere and tell me, this particular party that's in government is doing this. Is rubbish to me. It doesn't make any sense. It's not adding up. So this is our money. So the government should actually use the money to do the right thing. So we should not be begging the government to do what is our own right. Why should we? Why should I wake up to go and thank the governor for doing road? It is what you're supposed to do. Why should I come and thank you? Just if you don't do it, I should have the power to sue you. Do you understand? Come and tell us this money that that have been released to you. How do you spend this money? So it is our right to know why and how you're spending the money. So it is not your money. It's not your family money. It is not your party money. This is a national money. So we should not be doing things as if we are not informed. Even in this 21st century, it's so sad that we have a lot of persons who have gone to school, attained so many levels, but are still very, intellectually damned, to an extent. That's why I love what one of the professors will always say. Most of you are just educated illiterates, because it gets to a point where you're supposed to hold the government responsible, but we are not doing it. We're singing and showering praises to them. And that's why a lot of these appointees, I don't know their roles.
Oh, that's
so it becomes a huge problem.
That's a whole new conversation for another day. Well, we are calling the attention of the government to the ECOT answer, and ECOT is she access. Flooding is not a good thing. I don't think, just like what Sharon keeps saying, we've not experienced flooding in most of the state, because if you know what flooding is in other states, people don't see it. We pray for rain in Calabar. People don't pray for rain. In some states, because of how bad flooding can be. So I don't think we want to get to that point where we experience very
heavy flooding. If there is anybody we should thank those government that have actually put these big waters in Cross State before now. If not,
Yeah.
So you can imagine the past administration telling you want to put gutters. What that really means.
Ha. Let's not. You say what? Please, so. Anyway, we're moving straight to the national holiday segment. Today is the 6th day of May, like I said, and it's a Wednesday. So the national holiday for today, the first one is National Nurses Day. National Nurses Day. So today is that day set aside to celebrate all the nurses in the world.
Am I doing what that feels like?
The ones that were calling under the table during the protest in the hospital to celebrate.
We celebrate you. We celebrate you. But I don't like it.
Like them children have this trauma they get from Nigerian nurses.
I've never experienced a Nigerian nurse, funny enough.
You've not experienced?
No.
Have I?
I think the best time to actually meet a nurse in Nigeria is when the salary week,
Okay, I have experienced a Nigerian nurse, and she was so nice and lovely, right?
The older one?
Yeah, the older one.
Okay, the older one.
Yeah, she was. And it was at the UCTH. She was like, "Oh, what's your name? Yada yada. Do you play basketball? What do you want to study in future?"
So
like,
what I'm trying to say, the new ones are no.
The new ones are better now.
No.
Because I mean, they can relate to what you're saying.
There are good and amazing nurses in our facilities in Nigeria. Now, if I just met one just last week, trust me, there are a lot of persons who want the right thing to be done, but the system and the circumstances is not giving them that privilege. Now, if you speak out, you become a threat and a total threat. But however, I think this year team, I love it so much. It has to do with our nurses, our future empowered nurses save lives. So you need to empower nurses for them to save lives. So you can imagine that incident that happened. Now, these are people who have to spend from their own pockets.
Yeah.
And yet you've not paid them. They say, pay us so amounts of money, give us so amounts of, care. And the government is not doing it. And you expect them to take care of who?
One of the sectors that shouldn't suffer in a sane society
our
is the
health,
healthcare.
our education.
That's one
dangerous.
sector that should never suffer in a sane and functional society, because if you're not paying health workers well, how then do you expect the people that you are leading to actually get proper and adequate quality healthcare? How? Sometimes when we complain about the nurses and how the doctors are nonchalant, I'm like, to an extent, I don't blame them, because when they're not getting the proper funding, when you go to the hospital and you don't have something as basic as gloves. When I hear that thing, I thought it was a myth until I experienced it when a particular hospital I went to with someone and were asked to buy gloves because there was no gloves in the hospital. So as a doctor, as a scientist, as a nurse, I'll have to use my money from my salary, from my little salary to buy equipment. Come on.
And then before the patient will leave, you have to pay your whatever bills to the facility itself. But when it is time to take care of the patient, it comes from your pocket.
That's ridiculous.
So trust me, if that there is a percentage of monies being paid, like let's say a patient comes and then your bills, the percentage go to the particular doctor that take it. Trust me, we must have solved half of the problems we may have facing. Because that issue now, somebody would have loved to take it up, right? And then spend after all when the bills come. Yes. But this one, the bills, nothing. You're not getting anything. You won't even see even the receipt. Do you understand? And you expect me to use my money to fend for this thing. And at the end of the month, this is somebody, look at the house rate in Calabar today. Look at the transportation fare. You have a family to deal with. How much would you spend to eat? And all of that. You expect the person to sit down and then use his or her own money to treat you. And then when it's time for payment, and look at that kind of issue is an issue that before the state government will tell, oh, don't worry, we'll take about this issue. We'll take care of this. Before you know, it is the same family of those persons who end up spending those monies. And the government will come make promises and then just twile away.
I'm talking about the International Nurses Day. Nurses are one of the, let's say, medical healthcare professionals that get suppressed, right? Especially by the medical doctors, basically, because they'll feel like in Nigeria, if you're a nurse, they would see you as a doctor's aide. That's exactly the next thing they will tell you, a doctor's aide. But nurses, I'm here to tell you that nurses do a lot of work. Like one of the backbones of medicine as a whole. They provide holistic patient care by conducting physical exams, and they administer medications, they monitor vitals, and they educate patients. The first point of call when you come to the hospital, you see a nurse first. That will check your vitals. I know people that come, you see a nurse first before they tell you to go and see the consultant. Mm-hmm. Then the consultants tell you to go to the lab and everything. But the first point of call will be the nurse. And these people are very, 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 very important. But they have been deemed doctor's age. Meanwhile, they went to their own school, 5 years course, went through I think there's also midwifery.
Yeah.
There's a midwifery listing. So some of them do nursing and also midwifery.
Yes.
And then come together. You see RN and then something MD or when they are close to their name. They do exams and I said these exams are not small exams. So these people study to be where they are, and they should not be called doctor's age. They deserve to be celebrated because they also do a whole lot of things. There's some things that doctors can't do, but they are assigned to do those roles. So we celebrate all nurses, especially the ones that are in the children aspect, because you have to be patient. You have to be able to listen to these children. Because I've seen it's very beautiful to see when they answer children. And like, baby girl, how are you? And something like that. To the point where if you want to draw blood from them, they're the ones that will calm the child down, the ones that will lift the child, put them on their lap, and then the scientist or the phlebotomist there gets to draw the child's blood seamlessly. Then they're the ones when they're administering injections, it's a whole different thing. Like the treatment of children will be done with a lot of care and intention basically, so that the child will not be able to fail it. Because if this child is uneasy, they can't properly give this child medication. Yeah. So we celebrate all nurses there and all upcoming nurses in the University of Calabar. What you are doing is not easy to do because I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience at all, because patients can test you. So I don't have the patience. That's why I know the cost that concern me.
Have the patience to deal with patients. Okay.
I don't have
Anyway, the next national holiday we have is National Interpreter Appreciation Day. National Interpreter Appreciation Day. It's funny to note that the schools, the interpreter of the University of Calabar is in this block. I don't know if you know that man Thompson. He's tall, he's light skinned. Yes. Shout out to you.
Shout out to you.
That's a very interesting and very delicate job, I must say. Trying to interpret with using sign language, interpret to people that cannot hear, that have hearing impairment. So it's very vital. It's a very vital job. Sometimes I ask myself, how do they do it? And is it that you spell the words one after the other? But said no.
Man, those guys are so good.
You just have different signs for different words, not letters. Just different signs for sometimes even different phrases. Maybe a sentence might have just particular sign and all of that. So yeah, big shout out to all the interpreters in the world. The next one we have is National Tourist Appreciation Day. National Tourist Appreciation Day. Now, Cross River State, is known to be a tourism hub. A lot of tourists come into Cross River State, all year actually. Sometimes they come in and we don't even know because it's not for us. We feel like the only peak season is the carnival season.
They come here every time. I saw a couple of white people. This white lady kept staring at me. I was like, what are you fascinated by my height? Because I was so confused. Like, she just kept staring at me. Even the guy, that would have been her husband, but still wise. He just left. She left his gaze and was looking at me. I was like, well, I appreciate you, Sha. In case you're listening to me, I appreciate you because she was actually very pretty, like white lady, smallish, but very, very beautiful. If only they would appreciate us in South Africa the way we appreciate people here. But
it's not the case.
We're not seeing it that way.
And I also love this year theme that has to do with rural and community-centric tourism. Yeah, so here we're basically looking at rural communities and also, and community-centric tourism. So here, I think we have to appreciate the Carnival Commission in Cross River State, for good work they are doing. But however, we shouldn't always be waiting for carnival period to come before we start having fun. They can always
That's what I wanted to
make
ask.
something
rural community tourism. You went to mention carnival.
Yeah, but they can always make something at least. Yeah, I think during festive period, like
festive
and all of that.
It doesn't have to be festival.
In festive period,
we have things like the Canopy Walkway, the Abokim waterfalls. We have Ubudukasi, we have amazing rural and community tourist sites in Cross River State that are yet. We have the drill ranch. We have a lot. We have a lot. It doesn't always have to be about the carnival, about the carnival. Yes, it's good, but we have other things that people. Now the thing is, these tourists that are coming, let's say somebody coming from Brazil to come and witness the carnival. There's no carnival that you do in Nigeria, in Cross River State, that will be more than what they do in Brazil, because that's like the home. Barbados and Brazil, like that's the home of carnival.
Yeah.
So if they come and see, a canopy walkway, waterfalls, something natural, right? They'll be fascinated by these things. That's what I'm saying. So thank God that thing.
Yeah, you talk about rural and community-centric development. Yeah, there's one stone in Iwuru Central in Akampa local government area.
Okay.
That stone is just like a cave. So I think if these people could, redevelop that place to make it what it should be, trust me, it's going to be an amazing, IGR for that community and the local government. Don't forget, we keep saying that Akampa local government is one of the biggest and, most resourceful local governments in Nigeria. Yeah. But we are not actually exploring up to that extent. And these are great, ample opportunities where, they could bring in the state government to actually help in developing those areas to ensure that it becomes a tourism hub, for the state. And it's going to help in generating more IGR for the state.
Amazing. Anyway, the next and final holiday we have today is National Anxiety Disorder Screening Day. National Anxiety Disorder Screening Day. So Sharon, talk to us about this.
You're going to do it in the health and wellness.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, let's just hold that thought.
But don't forget that this year theme for this has to do with the stigma grows in silence while healing begins in community. Wow, such a lovely
one thing about anxiety disorder. That's why this holiday is important. It says National Anxiety Disorder Screening Day. Some people just sit down in their houses and diagnose themselves of anxiety disorder. I'll call the particular generation, but I will throw myself stone. So let me not call them out.
It even goes as far as I just want to let you know that they actually diagnose anxiety. Their anxiety disorders they diagnose. In fact, they go to the point of doing some blood tests to check for markers and everything. So it's a very, very, broad thing to feel like, okay, you have anxiety or you're anxious about something. It goes broader than that. So people actually have disorders from this thing.
People actually injure themselves when they're anxious.
Exactly. So we're going to talk about how to manage it in the health and wellness segment.
All right, that's much going to take on the national holiday segment. We're going back to the music. When we come back, Sharon will take us through the health and wellness segment. I'll leave in the hands of Davido and Omalay. This one says, "With You." To number with and radio set will be back before you know it. With You by Davido featuring Omalay. Welcome back from that short music break. Time check is 32 minutes past the hour at the 8, and at this point, we are welcoming you to the Health and Wellness segment right here on Cool 103.5 FM. Today, Sharon has something special for us this morning. So, Sharon, take it away. What do you have for us today?
Okay, on today's Health and Wellness, we're going to be talking on fighting and managing anxiety. Anxiety doesn't just appear out of thin air. It usually builds up quietly, layer by layer, from a mix of biology, life experiences, and daily habits. And some of the causes of anxiety disorder include some biological factors, your brain chemistry. Your brain runs on chemical messages like serotonin and dopamine. When they fall out of rhythm, the mind can become hyper alert. It can there are also imbalances in neurotransmitters, overactive fear center, and then genetics. Anxiety can run in families, basically. There's also genetic predisposition. If anxiety is common in your family, your brain may be wired to react more strongly to stress. And also, anxiety could be caused by stressful or traumatic life events. Certain experiences leave deep imprints, like the loss of a loved one, financial struggles, academic pressures. You as a student, you definitely know what I'm saying. Anxiety pressures, abuse or neglect. These experiences can train your brain to stay on high alert mood long after the danger has passed. Those people that even got kidnapped or faced maybe abduction by gunmen and everything. No, it brings anxiety, especially when you are reliving the event in your head.
Yes.
Exactly. So it also chronic medical conditions such as heart disease, thyroid disorders, chronic pain can mimic or trigger anxiety symptoms. The body whispers, the mind interprets it as danger. Also substance abuse. Excess caffeine is a silent anxiety amplifier. Alcohol and drug misuse is also an anxiety. You know, it's actually ironical because some people take alcohol to
suppress anxiety.
Exactly, to come off of reality. And then after the hangover, you come back and still face the same anxiety. So what's the use of the alcohol? Because I mean, it's just going to damage your liver at the same, like liver and kidney. So what's the use of the alcohol in the first place? But because of the fact that some people have gotten used to this, especially the alcohol and the drug aspects, even the drugs that ought to be used to treat illnesses have been misused. So this could actually, add to anxiety. Also, withdrawal from certain substances. So people maybe they are undergoing rehab and they're trying to come off of the substances they're taking. It's not actually a very easy one because you'd be hyper alert and then it can also lead to anxiety. These can crank up your nervous system and cause anxiety. Also, personal traits. People who are perfectionists. Yeah, people who like things being in the right place, arranged. They could also be anxious at some point because at the end of the day, life is not fully balanced. We are all not perfect. So things cannot be as perfect as you want them to be. So when they are not perfect, the next thing is, have you seen extreme ADHD?
Yeah.
This is an extreme one, like these.
I've experienced it firsthand. I think everybody in this office has experienced it firsthand. Everybody.
Like, if you see the extreme, like I saw a child, the parents just kept staring at this girl. If you see her room, everything is arranged in colors and in the right proportion. If one thing goes out of balance, she's on the floor shaking her body and making words. The same. I think the same thing also applies to autistic people. Their behavior, there are patterns of the way they behave. So they could be anxious if it falls out of balance at some point. Also, those people that are highly self-critical, critical of how they feel. Oh, my clothes is this. The stain on my outfit. Oh my god, like they do not start getting anxious. Or maybe they've perspired they've perspired too much and then they're now. So they are conscious of themselves that okay, at some point in time they will start smelling and stuff like that. So it could cause anxiety too. And then people that are easily overwhelmed at every small point in time, so one small thing happens, like your body is already reacting to it, like as if it's the end of the world. I have friends like that at some point. Like we can all be like that at some point in time. But then when you have people around you that can actually calm you down and be like, Alpha, you go do alright, just relax. So this set of human beings are prone to anxiety. It's like having a mind that constantly tries to predict and control every possible outcome. The overthinkers, The overthinkers that, they think of every possible situation
every
and
detail.
Everything. I can relate literally, because literally before it was to my detriment, because I'll think about every possible outcome, and then I'll be so worked up. I'll be so overwhelmed and anxious.
When you say think about all the possible outcome, all the possible negative outcome.
Yes, exactly. All the possible negative outcome, because I've never thought positive on it, but then I turned it to my own benefit. And I use it to like plan myself and make some particular decisions. Because I mean, if this doesn't work this way, this will work this way. This is how I'll think about it. That I've literally tweaked it to my benefits, basically. Yeah. So environmental factors will also cause it. Living in unstable or high pressured environments can keep your stress hormones constantly elevated. I can imagine how those children in Iran felt. That are feeling right now. Those are the examples of what I'm saying. The people in high risk environments, people in Iran, people in Ukraine, then they had war. You'd be anxious because you don't know when a bomb will drop close to you. You don't know whether you lose a family member at a point in time. So those ones also lead to anxiety. Now, how to avoid or manage anxiety? You can't always stop anxiety from knocking, but you can decide whether it gets to sit at your table. At the table in your head. You can decide whether it gets to rest in your mind. Now, the first is to master your stress before it masters you. Break tasks into smaller chunks. Avoid overloading your schedule. Learn to say no without guilt. Some people would have a day planned already, and then the next thing, somebody now says, "How far can you help me do this thing?" They cannot say no. I mean, there's some people that you cannot say no to, literally.
Who are
but there's people that you cannot say no to now. Okay, people? Maybe for your parents, for example, or maybe an important lecture that you need to pass the exam.
But that's just a one time thing.
Or your boss.
Okay. So if I'm ill, I cannot say no.
I said in some situations.
Okay.
In some situations, some people cannot say no. Some people they'll feel like, okay, I can do this at some point in time, so I'll say.
Don't you think it's better to say no than say yes and mess it up?
Exactly. Exactly. That's why we're here. That's why we're saying these things. Learn to say no, because at the end of the day, you're the one that will be on the receiving end of all these things, because stress can lead to anxiety and make you anxious. Also, prioritize your sleep. Sleep is your brain's reset button. Lack of sleep increases anxiety sensitivity. Aim for 7 to 9 hours consistently. I know if I know.
I was just waiting for you to land.
It's supposed to be 7 to 9 hours scientifically, but the average Nigerian only sleeps for 5 to 6 hours, which is actually sad, because we are going through a lot. We are going through a lot as a country. So sleeping is at least one mode of,
I agree.
One mode of like escaping from the cares of the world. When you sleep like this, you are dreaming sweet dreams. Your mind has traveled to where you don't even know, but you know that you are calm, you're sleeping. So I think that's possible. Prioritize your sleep. God ate when he created the concept of rest. He knew what he did, because
even he rested.
Exactly. So who are you not to rest? Anyway, stay physically active. Also, exercise acts like natural anti-anxiety medicine. Walking, skipping, dancing, anything that gets your body moving. It reduces stress hormones and boosts mood chemicals. So when you feel like, I know most of the time it's not easy, especially people that have lost their relatives, people that are living in spaces where they have no choice but to feel anxious or depressed at some point in time. But as much as possible, exercise, because when you exercise your brain, you are reducing the stress hormones and you are boosting mood chemicals, basically. So they actually go a long way into reducing stress. When I lost a very, very important person to me, I was literally like, looking back now, I'm wondering how I actually went through that, because I didn't recognize that vision of myself at all. But I had people with me, and then I also found ways to move my body, because I think I was actively working out then. I want to run the whole every. I was like, no, my life cannot stop. And then the person that passed away would not like me to be in this position. So I was like, okay, let me move my body as little as I can. And it actually helps me, because staying physically active will actually help your brain, work faster and reduce all those hormones that will actually stress you. But if you stay adamant at a particular place, your mind could drift to different places, and then you'd end up inviting things that could stress you more and make you anxious, and then at the end of the day you become utterly depressed. So also watch what you consume. Reduce caffeine and sugar. Stay hydrated. Eat balanced meals. Your gut and your brain are close friends. Feed one well and the other one behaves better. Practice relaxation techniques, deep breathing, meditation, mindfulness, solitude. Basically, like I like to replace meditation with solitude. At every point in time of the day, everything. The whole world is very, very loud, very noisy. So at some point in time, take out time, sit down, and just close your eyes and recount everything that has happened. Just stay in a state of silence. I try to do that thing every time before I go to bed. Because it's important to me. If not, my head will be total shambles in the morning. So I just sit down. Some people use that time to pray and read their Bibles and everything. We sit down, relax, and recollect. You don't have to talk every time. You don't have to make noise. You don't have to relate to everybody. At some point in time, sit down and chill, relax, and also take deep breaths. Deep breaths very important. Take deep breaths, and also be mindful of the environment. Even 5 minutes daily can calm the inner alarm system. Also, challenge your negative thoughts. Anxiety loves exaggeration. That's actually overthinkers that only think negative things. Instead of saying something will go wrong, try what if it goes right? What if this naturally works out right? What if? Replace your positive thoughts with replace your negative thoughts with your positive thoughts. Train your thoughts. Also stay connected to your family members and friends, people that are close to your mentors. Isolation feeds anxiety. I think what's the theme? And Thompson, you said the theme for anxiety.
Yeah, this has to do with the stigma grows in silence, while healing, begins in community.
Exactly. So when you stay silent or you stay isolated, the connection weakens, and then you are more prone to anxiety and depression. So as much as possible, relate to people, relate to friends. You realize that when you talk, you're actually calmer. Especially when you talk to somebody that you trust, and you know that your matter somewhere else outside. It's very, very important. Your matter somewhere, because if you hear it somewhere,
it can even lead to more anxiety.
More anxiety, exactly. Also, limit information overload. Too much news, social media, comparisons can quietly fuel anxiety. That's the problem we have in this generation. They compare themselves.
You compare a lot. My friend is living with first class. You must have to kill yourself.
You see somebody that is, this person has their own life. Everybody goes at their own pace. Because you feel like you are this person's age mate, you guys should be on the same level of growth, which is not actually true. I was actually a victim of that. It's a classmate of mine. I actually admire her so much. She started her business, and then she was thriving. Basically, and then because she was thriving, the glow up was there. But then me, I was just starting. Then I was just, doing my things small, managing my money and all. But then at some point in time, I was like, why am I comparing myself to this individual? I have my own smarts, and I'm definitely working on something that's making me grow. Basically, and then so I started appreciating myself more, and here I am. I'm still growing, but I stopped that comparison with people because it makes absolutely no sense. And then I feel like some people actually have been compared to other people by their parents. Their parents have compared them to instead of individuals. It started from their youth. So they grow up trying to compete with people. Life's not a competition. It's not a competition. We are all doing this together. We are all running our own races. Different. It's a marathon. Like they say, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint race. Small. Everybody's moving forward. So please do not compare yourself to people that you see outside social media influencers. You see, you don't know what they're doing behind closed doors.
It must be a very serious joke
if
to
you
compare yourself with anybody on social media.
Because you don't know what they are doing. If they take it to their life, you will understand something. You'll be like, oh, thank God I'm not doing this and stuff like that. You don't know what they're doing. So
I need to be very careful when you go to restaurant to eat and all those places to eat. Sometimes they pick money from the roadside. Sometimes they borrow just to show. Probably, I've seen a lot of persons who stay throughout the month. They never eat meat. My guy, once they have the opportunity, so you have to wise up. Don't go to a place and feel because everybody's eating meat, you go and order for 2 plates. If you even have share the food.
Let me share it. Me, I'm very real. I don't know how to hide
the food.
If there's a new restaurant in town, I will go to their websites I'm going to look
check.
at their
You
price
get-
list.
I
Sometimes
would
they
check
put
I
list
don't
of-
get, I don't get strength. So.
I would check the team. I'm not going to go there and be like, sorry, it's beyond my budget. No.
And
I will
please,
check it first.
and please, dear Malabite, if you want to take a Mala breast out, please, and the person choose a place. Biko, if possible, go there
Go and do your
overnight.
research.
Go and do your research. Go and find out
No,
to,
rather pick the restaurant by yourself.
so that you don't come back and be depressed.
Pick the restaurant by yourself. You're the one taking the.
Even if you
restaurant by
pick,
yourself now.
sometimes you pick in the morning, afternoon, price change. Go and make research.
I'm serious.
Oh Lord
serious.
Jesus. Please, as much as possible, don't compare yourself. Learn to love yourself.
Yeah.
Learn to appreciate yourself. Learn to appreciate your growth. Because at the end of the day, you are growing. Some people are actually regressing, but you are growing and you're moving forward. So appreciate yourself. Also, seek professional help when needed. I feel like there's a mental health awareness campaign on campus, right? I think there's one close to, there's one in college. There's a banner there that says, if you want to come and, get, if you need help, you can speak, there are people you can speak to.
Yeah, so we also have the counseling unit at Malabo, precisely. Also youth-friendly help center at Hall 10. So please, they should do all you can. Go there, and talk with them.
If your anxiety becomes overwhelming and persistent, you seek a psychologist or a doctor to help you with therapy or medication. Like we said, anxiety has been diagnosed as a disorder. So some people actually have this as a disorder.
Yeah.
So please, if it's persistent, go to the hospital, see a doctor, see a psychologist. That's one thing that's underrated in Nigeria. Mental health. We feel like, okay, everybody's fine. The only common illnesses is malaria. Then the very 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 serious ones will be cancer, different types of cancer. But we don't prioritize mental health here in our workspaces, in schools, safe. Because if you prioritize someone's mental health, there's some things you will not be doing.
Exactly.
So that's it for the health and wellness segment.
All right, thank you so much, Sharon. You said a lot there, and I hope that you listening, you've learned a thing or two about anxiety and how to manage anxiety.
Yeah.
We're going on a very short break. When we come back, we're going to move straight to the people and culture segments. Keep listening to Unico 123.5 of that. $8.49 on the DOT. Welcome back from that short break. Right now, we're moving straight to the next segment of the show, which is the people and culture segment. So this segment of the show will learn about people, culture, tradition, and everything into it. And of course, today is a new day, and we have something new for you this morning. So Sharon, take it away.
Welcome back again. It's lovely to have you. As this people and culture, we're going to be talking about the fattening room. Yes, the fattening room is one of the cultural traditions that feels like stepping into a living museum where beauty, discipline, identity are carefully sculpted behind closed doors. And the fattening room is a traditional practice among the Efik people and the Ibibio people of southern Nigeria. It's a period of seclusion where a young woman, usually before marriage or after puberty, is prepared for womanhood. Think of it as, a cultural finishing school, but instead of textbooks, the curriculum includes body care, domestic skills, and social etiquette. And the purpose of the fattening room was to prepare for marriage. The central aim is to groom a girl child, into a well-rounded woman ready for married life. She is taught how to manage the home, respectful communication, childcare, and family responsibilities. It's also a symbol of beauty and status. Traditionally, fullness or weight gain was associated with beauty, wealth, and good living. A well-fed bride signaled that she came from a family that could afford comfort and health. It also, gave cultural education. Inside the room, elders passed down traditions, customs, moral values, sexual and reproductive knowledge, handed discreetly and respectfully. So the ladies the older women would usually advise the younger women on how they kept their home, how they manage their home and everything. Physical care and enhancement. The woman is pampered with massages, special diets, People, are you sure I should not go to this thing? Like, why are they doing it, please? Because actually, I need it. I need it. Share a fast parties. I need it, please. Also,
Only you walk out now. Fattening room. Okay. Baby Ellie next.
I better go. Okay, so they also give skincare treatments, often using local ingredients like palm oils and herbs. Also, in some pictures, you will see them covered in white chalk and dome. Usually a symbol of purity and beauty. Yeah, symbol of purity and beauty. So what happens?
I used to be ashamed of myself until I met you. It's ndom, not ndom. Yes.
My auntie pronounced it ndom.
No, it's ndom.
Sorry,
yes.
Don't wait.
Ndom.
Yeah.
It's just like saying you want to bite. Ndom is just like saying you want to bite but not bite.
Dom is bite now.
Okay, moving on. Ndom. Yeah, dom is bite, yes. Ndom, yes, that's white chalk.
Oh Lord.
Ndom is when
I used to be ashamed of my ifo until I met you.
But I can pronounce some things now. It's the fact that I'm used to English too much. That is why I understand it. I'm not fully shameless. Okay. Anyways, it's life in the fattening room is slow, intentional. The woman eats calorie-rich meals frequently. Can never be me. Avoid strenuous activities. Learns through storytelling and observation. Receives body treatment to enhance skin glow and softness. In some videos, you see the women being massaged, being fed with very, very, our traditional meals, afang soup, ipan kuko, edikaikong, different delicacies, that will fatten up the bride, basically. The cultural significance, the fattening room is deeply tied to identity. It reflects the value placed on femininity and womanhood, the importance of community in shaping individuals, a celebration of transition from girlhood to womanhood. When this inclusion ends, the woman emerges in a ceremony, often beautifully adorned like a cultural unveiling. Today, the practice is evolving. Some families shorten the duration, emphasis on extreme weight gain is reducing, and it's sometimes symbolic rather than strictly practiced. Modern education and health awareness have reshaped, but its cultural heartbeat still echoes. Some see the fattening room as empowering, others critique aspects of it, especially around the body image. Both views can sit on the same table. Culture rarely stays still, it bends, adapts, and occasionally reinvents itself. I really want to go through this thing, you guys.
You want to do what?
I really want to go through this room.
Well, unfortunately, it's no longer active as it used to be, in the olden days. Now, the fasting room is just
these days. You must have passed through. Yes, I do, and then gone through all the process.
But that's if you are ready to get married. I think the traditional name is.
So, what is hungering you now?
Mine, help me, please.
The traditional name is Nkuho.
Nkuho. So the woman that passes through the stage is one Nkuho. Basically, yes, I pronounce it well. Yay!
Okay, that's the much you can take on the people and culture segment. This used to be a very big part of femininity in the olden days, right? Especially here in amongst different people, right? It showed that women were being taken care of and prepared for marriage. Well, that's much your take on the people and culture segment. We're going back to the music. When we come back, we're going to move straight to the top stories. But remember, for the news flash by 9 a.m. comes up shortly. Do not move away from the radio set. I'll be back before you know it. I'll leave you in the hands of Young John and Rema. This one says, la la la. Do not move away from the radio set. I'll be back before you know it. 6 minutes past the hour of 9. Welcome back from that music break. That was Holiday by Rema. It's still the morning boss show right here on Miracle 103.5 FM, the only station that offers you the best of education, information, and of course, entertainment. 360, we love to call it, ADU infotainment. Right now, we're moving straight to the next segment of the show, which is the top story segment. Now, the first top story we have is from Cross River State, and it says, Cross River is COVID-19 free, says Commissioner. Cross River State has achieved a significant public health milestone with the successful treatment and discharge of its only confirmed COVID-19 case, rendering the state virus free. Commissioner of Health Dr. Henry Egbe disclosed that the solitary case confirmed on April 16, 2026 by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) at the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital (UCTH) Isolation Center was swiftly contained. The state government activated an Emergency Operations Center (EOC) and collaborated with partners including the World Health Organization (WHO) and NCDC for robust contact tracing, monitoring, testing, and line listing, ensuring no further infections. In his words, "I am impressed to report that Cross River State is COVID-19 free." On May 1st, 2026, the index and only patient was discharged in excellent health with a negative COVID-19 test result, he said. He assured residents of heightened vigilance by the Public Health Department and EOC while commending Governor Basu Edetutu, UCTH, Federal Ministry of Health, NPHCDA, NCDC, WHO, and UNICEF, and other organizations for their support. What do you make out of this?
Yeah, so talking about Cross River State, I literally love the fact that the state is always very active when they have issues or when they hear reports like this. Don't forget that the government have actually refuted publication by Daily Trust and other online platforms alleging the discovery of 10 new persons with COVID-19 symptoms and describing the report as misleading and inconsistent with the state's current public health records. And then don't forget the state battled a lot with COVID-19 issues when during that COVID-19, and then we had a lot. And then I think the University of Calabar also, we had the COVID-19 point, so I don't know what actually happened. All of a sudden, the canopy disappeared and everything. But it's good that in the state, we currently do not have issues like that. And the state Commissioner for Health has come out to say, hey, don't worry, the state is very safe. So everyone should go about their normal business, knowing very well that, things are very better, our health care providers. That's why we talked about celebrating nurses and all of those guys who are doing tremendously well in the health sector. So we commend the state government for, swinging swiftly into action in ensuring that, the issue didn't escalate and then it was actually brought to control. And today we can freely walk around without necessarily have to tie our nose with nose masks and all of that, or kitting ourselves as if we are traveling to moon. And all of that, having restrictions.
You still need to.
That's the thing. That's the thing. In that statement, I did not hear anything about how to be cautious just in case. There's no safety measure whatsoever. Nobody's saying, okay, protect yourself. Wash your hands regularly. Nothing. It's just I think they just focus on what would make a big or a very resounding headline.
Yeah.
Cross River State is COVID-19 free, right? But there are other little details that should come with that memo because it's important for citizens to beware and also protect themselves.
I feel like added to it, there should be sensitization for, in fact, even before COVID-19, there should be sensitization for proper hygiene, proper hand hygiene, body hygiene, proper hygiene. Because people before this COVID-19 thing, people would sneeze into their hands. Like the next somebody do like this, one, and do it like this, and shaking another person with it. That's how they are doing. And I'm like, they will clap their hands together. They'll sneeze into their hands, clap their hands together and rub it. And they will not wash their hands. They'll shake someone else. Before COVID-19, Actually, before they now go all these regulations where they say shake your hand, social distancing and whatever, we used to hug each other because you know how we are very, very homely people, hospitable people. So basically, you want to hug people that you see around. I'm not a fan of that. Please don't come near me if you're not somebody that I know. Don't even people that I know safe. I barely come into contact with them. So still need to maintain the same hygiene this day. COVID, yes, the person is free from COVID-19, but there's still some very deadly airborne diseases that we need to look out for the likes of tuberculosis too. So I'm just supposed to be here. The fact that they said COVID-19 has been the state has been rid of COVID-19 doesn't mean you should lose your strict adherence to hygiene, especially hand hygiene, because we touch a lot of surfaces. Yeah. And I used to touch food, we used to touch our mouths, we used to touch somebody else's child, we used to touch somebody else's face. A lot of germs are passing up and down because we're not the only ones living in this particular ecosystem. There are also microorganisms that also want to thrive. And they thrive better in your body because body temperature is sweet for them to stay on. So basically, as much as possible, maintain strict adherence to your hand hygiene, especially when you sneeze. You sneeze and cough to the crease of your elbow, not into your hand. Into your hand that you used to touch people. You cough into the crease of your elbow. But even if you have a handkerchief, so as much as possible, please keep it away from people's reach. I feel like that one was said.
It's supposed to be in your pockets. It's
supposed to be in your pocket, yeah, but the people that sneeze into their handkerchiefs. When you sneeze into your handkerchiefs and you put it inside your pocket, you wash your hands, please. Or sanitize your hands, because at the end of the day, you still have the germs on your palms. Exactly. So as much as possible, adhere to strict hand hygiene. Please, save the healthcare professional stress. The healthcare system is already, not thriving like the way we want it to thrive. So please, if you can save yourself the stress of going to the hospital. At least if you're going to the hospital, let it be for just checkups and not a very serious ailment. So this should be a call to still be strict on your hygiene. But supposed to be strict on your hygiene. Don't touch surfaces too much. Don't hug too many people. There's a point in time in the day where everyone is sweating and you don't need that physical contact. Like me, I would get so irritated in the afternoon when I'm sweating and somebody wants to come and hug me.
I'm already irritated by myself.
Exactly. And then sores are already building up. So somebody coming to touch me or hugging me, even those even it's in a condition cause crayfish, but if not, I will not be seeing so many balls with some people. The kind of, and the funny thing is that when they realize they are slim, they want to squeeze you together inside one place. And then most of the times, it's not the leg room or the body room. They will want to push and squeeze you, and they are already sweating, and you too, you're sweating too. So it's very, very uncomfortable. I feel like that's why they use the mobile cabs that we have. Basically,
car healing services.
Exactly. So as much as possible, Controversial State is rid of COVID-19, but be vigilant, be safe, be health conscious, be hygiene conscious as much as possible.
Because if you're not hygiene conscious, at the end of the day, you might come down with something, and who knows, you might also still lead back to the COVID-19 that we say that we are rid of. So ensure that you practice hygiene. Be very, very conscious and be very meticulous with your hygiene. Wash your hands regularly, just like what Sharon said. I think yesterday or on Monday we spoke about hand hygiene. Ensure that you wash your hands. If you cannot wash your hand all the time, you can use antimicrobial wipes. You can use hand sanitizers. Other alternatives. It doesn't always have to be just washing your hands. You can also use other alternatives just in case you're not close to water. I think, like I said the other day, after the pandemic, we just tossed the whole hand washing culture in the dustbin. We just tossed it away. But it's very important to always wash your hands. Even when you return from maybe work, from the market, when you go outside and come back, it's important that you wash your hand before you touch any surface in your house. Some people go outside, come back, and the first thing that they're touching is food. I know you're hungry. We get it. I get it.
I so thank God for my aunts that I'm staying with currently, and then my parents for imbibing that culture in me, because now I understand the benefits of it. They won't like touch anybody. They go before you hug somebody, before you go to somebody, go and wash your hand. Go and wash your hand first. She will tell you before you pick food, have you washed your hand? That's the next thing they're saying. Because the thing you're carrying from where you're coming from. And then me that goes to the hospital occasionally. I have to wash my hands. I wash my hands when I leave the hospital.
Joy is Coming by Fido. Time check is 19 minutes past the hour of 9, and you're still tuned into Unico 103.5 FM, the only station that offers you the best of education, information, and of course, entertainment. 360, we love to call it A2 infotainment. My name remains Igwe Van Henshaw. We still have Obi Thompson and Sharon right here in the studio. And right now, we're moving straight to the conversation of the day. And today's conversation is actually very interesting conversation. So I stumbled on a video on social media, a video by Tosin and Niolo Runde. Did I get that right, Sharon?
Yeah, Tosin.
Tosin.
If it's that, that's why I said. That's why I asked that. If it's that one, we'll see you.
Oh,
but
gee.
your own mother tongue, it will
Because I grew up
disappear.
there,
Oh,
no.
please.
Is and your Lorunda Tosin.
That's what I said. Anyway, he's the CEO of a particular fintech company in Nigeria, a very popular fintech company in Nigeria. And he came out to say a lot of things. He said, let me quote, he says, I used to feel Nigerians are really bright. We've had over 500 vacancies since 2024, and we're still struggling to find Nigerians to fill those roles. They don't wait now, let me talk. They don't meet global standards. I blame social media, Yahoo, and hookup culture. This is what the CEO of this fintech company said. Now, let me tell you one thing I found very disconnecting about this sentence. I blame social media, Yahoo, and hookup culture. Okay. There's no connection. I'm sorry, like there's no connection. But now you're claiming that you had over 500, that's a lot. 500 vacancies since 2024, and you've not been able to find Nigerians to fill in, those vacancies because Nigerians are underqualified, unskilled, and they do not meet global standards.
The first rage bait is, I used to feel Nigerians are really bright. Excuse you. We have a lot of human resources. If we have good government and proper funding.
Leave good
and no,
let's
proper
even
funding.
in bad governments.
We still have people. Like, which one is, I used to feel Nigerians are really bright. Like, that's the first rage bait. Because definitely I know this country is infused with minds that can bring innovation.
So I have an auntie that is based in the US. She came down last month, April, and she's just having a conversation with my mom, and I don't know how the conversation led to talking about Nigeria. She said Nigerians are from Jesus. They are so smart. They are so hard.
They literally want, like, they are recruiting people to these countries.
Yes.
For example, places like Canada now, they're bringing people there because I feel like they said there was something about them. They don't have enough workforce for them, so they need people from these spaces to come and occupy those people there. Like, because they are thriving in a very, very,
functional system.
Yeah, functional society, comfortable society, basically. So they are, if their minds can work in society as this, that is, stressful and everything, that will bring out the hustler in you. Imagine going abroad and being comfortable, so there are a lot of Nigerians in big spaces. So you claiming that you thought Nigerians were bright.
Such an insult.
Like, seriously.
Let's take a few reactions before we continue this conversation. This one is from Abayomi, and it says, blaming social media and hookup culture sounds like an excuse for underpaying roles. Maybe the real issue is expecting global talents for local rates. Global standards require global investment. Thank you. This one now says, this is from Doyle. It says, so because you haven't found people to fill positions in your company, you are now saying we aren't bright. How much can you pay? Let's start from there. You want to compete globally and pay peanuts to your workers after milking their rare skills. My guy, you aren't ready. When you are ready, you will know where to find them. I could not agree less. Somebody goes on to say, this is from Wilson. It says, Nigerians can get into Google, Apple, Microsoft, and some of the leading tech companies, but yours is where we draw the line. Get out of here. They are probably looking for cheap labor. That's why they've not been able to fill up their vacant roles. Now, a lot of people have said a lot of things about this thing, this thing that the CEO, this just same guy, came out to say. It's more like I saw it like maybe a publicity stunt, because it's very insulting. First of all, you are Nigerian. First of all, you're not a Ukrainian, you are not a Canadian, you are Nigerian. You pass through the Nigerian system, and you know that every day Nigerians are not relenting. They are trying to, broaden their horizon. They're trying to upscale. They're trying to be better at what they are doing. And now the problem is, I've come to realize one thing. The problem we face the fact that most of these companies require global standards, but they are paying you peanuts. They are paying you local rates, but they are expecting global standards, global expectations. Make it make sense. You're paying somebody a very low rate, but you're expecting productivity that is high up there. Now, if you go outside this country, right, if they expect high productivity from you, the rates that they're paying you is extremely high. Extremely high. But here we want to pay people peanuts and overwork them. We want to pay people peanuts and give them all the work in the world. Somebody came out to say that he actually worked with Money Points for 3 months and he resigned. That he's not proud to even put it in his CV. That they have a very funny mode of operation. That he's not, for somebody to say that they're not proud to put this fintech company on their CV, that goes to show that it's really not worth it. Because at the end of the day, what they do is some of these companies try to overwork you, give you all the workload, and they pay you so much. And when you ask for your worth, you're being entitled. When you ask for a raise, they'll threaten to fire you. They will do this. They will do that. They'll tell you how they can replace you in 10 minutes and all of that. But the actual sense, they actually need your skill. They actually need your abilities, but they're not willing to pay you your worth. That's the problem with some companies in Nigeria, some organizations. They would never pay you your worth. And when you try to complain, when you try to, ask for something that's your worth, they tend to, title you, ungrateful, try to say that you're entitled. They tell you how young people are lazy. That's the one that pisses me off the most.
We are actually seeing another part of this particular thing that says I blame social media, Yahoo, and hookup culture. There are a lot of Nigerians that are very populated, and you mean to tell me that all the Nigerians out there that you claim are not really bright are involved in they are doing social media, influencing Yahoo and hookup culture. That's what everyone is doing. That's why you can't feel your the vacancies that you have. This statement is so biased, one-sided. It's not putting the Nigerians into consideration, because you can't expect that after somebody has struggled through school, person has struggled and gone through university, which is the one that if you pass through it, you thank God. You are struggled to university. Some have 2 degrees. These particular things. Somebody can be doing software engineering and then still come and do cybersecurity again. That's what it's like. Some are overqualified for even the position that you're saying has not been filled. And then they come and you're paying them peanuts. And you expect them to settle for it. Meanwhile, the economy is not even smiling. You have house rent, you have electricity bills. These things are increasing day by day. Water bills also. And you expect somebody to settle for peanuts when they are worth more. Some of them are global standards. Some of them are global standards, actually. If they go abroad, they will be connected. In fact, these people will even train them more. It will give them more opportunities to be trained more.
So something I'm saying here.
No, before you even take that, I think on my own part, at some point in time, when informations like this are already in the public domain, there are things we need to critically look at and consider. First of all, was his statement correct? Yeah, he could, based on probably his own finding. But does it really make sense? It doesn't really make any sense, because one, if you look at
it doesn't make sense. That is not correct.
Yeah, if you look at, first of all, you need to look at the both side of it, because one, there are lots of opportunities that are out there, but you wouldn't have people to fill them, right? Because one, you feel like there's a particular criteria that somebody must have to meet, right? Let's take these instances of, you must have 10 years experience for you to have a certain job, right? And then
you must
this
have
comes
10.
up.
Imagine saying you must have 10 years experience for a job that pays you 100,000. That's madness.
Okay, so now
And
let's get back.
Nobody would do that.
It is the same situation. So you ask the same questions like, why are we having NASU and SANU going on strike? It is the same thing. So if the government does this, what would private individuals do? That's the same thing. So they are copying from the government. Look at ASIS also threatening strike. It's still the same thing. You have somebody who have gone to school up to the professorial, position, and yet is earning less than a councillor, even an appointee in the government. Do you understand? So you see where these things is coming from. So you could see, let's say a governor, a president, with questionable, certifications and all of that. And yet you're talking about somebody who have gone to school, done this, attend this, done all sorts of things, and yet it doesn't end.
Relating to what you said,
so much.
A tweet from the Nigerian Youth for Education said they would demand 10 years experience for entry jobs and pay peanuts as salary, and then blame it on social media and Yahoo for empty seats.
Average salary by country. So for entry level, we have in the US we have $4,650. So that is over 6.4 million in naira. So for the UK we have $3,400. That's around 4.6 million. Now in Nigeria we have 95 million, and that's 131,284 naira.
Mind you, most people are paid less than this.
Now for mid-level, we have the US 5,850 naira, $50 rather. That is 8.8 million. We have the UK $4,750. That's around 6.5 million, and in Nigeria we have $190, which is over 262,568 naira. Now for senior level, the US we have $9,500. That's 13.1 million. In the UK we have $8,250. That's around 11.4 million. And in Nigeria we have $450. That's over 621 naira, 873.
Okay.
Sorry, that's 621,000 naira, 873. So that's like the average salary rates per country. Now imagine a country that is asking for 100 years of experience, and I'm 21 years. Excuse me, what am I going to get?
So now look at what actually plays out there. While we are going through this, a lot of things came through my mind. First of all, we're talking about these salary structures, right? If you look at the attitude of young people in these countries that even pay much with their politicians, as compared to what we have in Nigeria, you could see that there's a high level of, intellectual illiteracy. Do you understand? Like Prof will always call it educated illiterate. You understand? You could see that high level already in this side of it. Do you understand? So you're earning just something that most of these politicians cannot even, use a month to feed their domestic pets. Do you understand? This is what you're earning. You're earning even less than that. But yet you're celebrating and, making them look as if what they are doing you a favor. Meanwhile, you're working for it. The other day we asked a question here. Who should say thank you to each other? I work for you, you get paid. You pay me. And you turn back to tell me I didn't acknowledge you paid me salary. Should I come to thank you for paying me salary for the work I did? Do you understand? We talked about it the other day on the show. And so this boils down to simple questions like, if you look at the statement this man have been able to make, I am seeing it in another phase of it. We have been saying as a student, do not sit back and wait until you're done with school before talking about learning a skill, before talking about volunteering your time, before talking about doing one or two things on your own. ASU, if you go through ASU, social media page, they say over 75% of students or graduates return back to be poor after school. And so the question is, so you make money during your school days because one, you have dependence on your parents, on this, on that, for people to give you money to be who you are. Do you understand? But after school, those funds are no longer coming. So you become poor. You become a problem to the society. Do you understand? And I keep saying that if I find my way to the government house, if I be a president, we're going to make a law that within a specific period of time, if you are this, you must have to rewrite exams, you must have to rewrite a test for you to qualify. It's just like a THCRN and other. Of course, that happens. Professional bodies. After a period of time, you must have to go renew your licenses and you have to pass through certain processes and all of that. Don't forget, there were times that police officers, who are going for promotions and all of this, they usually have a test. You have exams. And we see how many of them fumbles, right? So let's bring it back to ourselves. First of all, I think a lot of young people have to reconsider a lot of things. We are not saying don't use social media. We are not saying social media is not paying, but there should be a time frame where you have to dwell on this. But you need to explore many ample opportunities. We were just here. We were talking about volunteering. We're talking about online opportunity, jobs opportunities that are all over. But for this guy, trust me, the government wouldn't want to call him to order. The government wouldn't want to say, okay, come to the table, come and explain, why do you say this and all of this? Now, what's the role of, we have youth leaders in Nigeria, right? Have they come out to say anything in regards to this? That is what we're talking about. So it makes what the man said to be true. Because if someone could say this to young people in Nigeria and you wake up as a youth leader and say, look, I am not subscribing to this thing because this is not true.
Data, with
do you understand?
With statistics to show.
We had a president who left this country to tell the world that Nigerian youths are lazy, and the youth leader never came out to say anything.
Can I read
That's
more
the problem?
statistics? This is from Immortal Stats, replying to Yaba Left Online.
Okay.
It says Nigeria is the third top African country with top skilled workforces.
Okay.
And their education, they are ranked according to the third top skilled country in Africa. So this is to defend, because you said people didn't come out for it. The Nigerian youth education.
So we are not saying people didn't. We're talking about the youth leaders.
They said the real fraud is Nigerian corporate greed, and the youths are building empires abroad. And then you just have to fix your salary wages first. And that perspective I'm going to come from is perspective of investing in these particular workforces, because some people just employ. And then they're okay with it. After all, they don't actually, the greed is what we're talking about here. Sometimes they don't even think of, this person has done a lot, a bonus, health insurance, safety at work.
Okay, that you're going too far, Sharon. You're going too far. Something as basic as trainings.
Yeah.
Now we have people, brands like Masterclass that do Mastercard rather that do trainings, internship, because they're trying to equip young people so that when it's time to apply for a job,
he came from InterSwitch. InterSwitch also does those particular trainings. He came from InterSwitch. So basically, this particular company, from what I read online, has this problem where they don't invest.
If you don't invest back into it's like
you do it through internship programs. Students would come. Students are trying to build themselves in maybe software engineering, cybersecurity, all these fintech companies. Exactly. You put them through internship programs. Then the ones that are promising, you absorb them back into your company, and also increase the pay should not be peanuts, because you know that they went through a lot to learn these things and you invested in them, so it should not be peanuts. Do you understand? But because they do not want to invest in the human
I think that's one of the biggest problem we have in this country, in the corporate space, where there's no investments in the human resources.
Exactly.
The same staff that you hired last 5 years, you have not invested anything, no training, no upscaling, no masterclass, nothing, and somehow you expect more productivity. How is that going to happen? All these companies abroad that from time to time there's always a training process, internship, upscaling classes for their staff. Do you think that they are stupid? Do you think they don't know what they're doing? Exactly. Or you come out here to spew nonsense? Because for me, that is nonsense. Come out to say nonsense that Nigerians are not bright. Because we've had 500 vacancies. Doesn't that tell you that you are the problem? Like the company is the problem.
There's not how you give a Nigerian way to move forward. Nigerian won't take it. We are not.
Very
We are
true.
naturally not lazy
Very
individuals.
true.
We are not lazy. I can stand and say we are not lazy because you put us in comfortable sports, put us in sports where we need to learn and learn effectively. If you are, like I said, if you are able to learn in trying times like this, things that would, the universities that would squeeze you to the point you'll be like, what is going on here?
And
If you are able to learn in those spaces, there's no way you give a Nigerian opportunity. The Nigerian will see it and take it and move forward with it. I mean, we are thriving abroad. We are thriving
sought
abroad.
after.
Exactly. So saying that Nigerians are not bright, you've not seen them, or maybe you are the issue. Maybe your company
That's
is
the
the
thing. At
problem.
the end of the day, you're the issue.
Because
Your
500
company is the
vacancies
issue.
is much.
It's too since
much.
2024.
It's over exaggeration.
Really?
It is
Really?
over exaggeration. So they should.
Really?
It's like coming out and saying you have a problem and you've not
You're
internally
blaming the
decided.
problem
Mm.
outwardly.
You've not internally, tried to sort out the problem. You've not internally analyzed the problem. Because I know in companies, we watch movies where you sit down in the boardroom and then, try and dissect it. Everybody comes with their own,
how can we move forward?
yeah, how can we move forward, stuff like that. You've not internally taxed this company.
You know that somebody came out to say that his friend applied for a job with this same company and he was during the third stage of the interview he was rejected. After being rejected, they sent him a mail after a few days and scheduled him for that same stage 3 interview that they rejected him. And he was like, what's going on? What's this clumsy recruitment exercise happening here? Well, you come out to actually criticize Nigerians, call them unintelligent.
We don't meet global standards.
But you are the problem. Your organization has internal issues that you need to fix. It's more like projecting your own insecurities or your own problems on other people.
Trust me, if that company decides to do internship programs, the number of
They will
Nigerians
apply. Like every year, I see the
Yes.
MasterCard internship, and a lot of Nigerians are there. A lot of
Exactly.
Nigerians are there.
So invest in workforce. That's not how you invest in human power. It's trying Nigerian power that you will not get good results from it.
I mean, every Nigerian wants comfort at the end of the day.
And also, I also have issues with most times Nigerians when they talk that way because one, I think we haven't gone to the drawing board, we haven't gone to the foundation to say, hey, we want to start grooming people. So we could ask questions like how many persons has he been able to groom in his family, in his community, in his church, in his anywhere. You understand? We start from home, and all of those. How many persons have we been able to groom? To a certain stage. For you to put out there, because whether we like it or not, they are all Nigerians and all of that. So I think, like I keep saying, we are too free to the extent that expression of freedom of expression or freedom of information has made a lot of persons feel they have absolute. Meanwhile, you don't have an absolute powers, amidst of all of these things. So because things like these are things that a lot of Nigerians should have take it up, to really school him and probably bring him to explain in details and probably cause to make effect in this particular thing, because this is really going to traumatize a lot of persons and it's really going to force and things like this demarket the country in international scene, don't forget. But however, I trust the fact that Nigerians, anytime we put up applications to work in a place, we say we can work in any situation, irrespective of and all of that. So I love that part so much. But however, I think Nigerian youth don't give up, don't allow these. Of course, things like this don't even scratch us because we are willing, we are capable, we are ready and available at all times to work.
Well, amazing. At the end of the day, Nigerians are resilient people. Nigerians are very tenacious. Nigerians are very hardworking. I think that's one of the traits that we are known globally for.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Very, very hardworking people.
And this is why South Africa are jealous. yeah, that's why they're jealous, because you could see someone leave his own country, come to your country and do the best, because the system there is quite different from what we have here.
I feel like we intimidate.
Whenever we find ourselves, of course.
We do. I feel like we do. Because when we come, we will definitely own the stage. Definitely when we come to a particular environment.
Our biggest problem is our system. Our biggest problem is our government. When those things are fixed, at the end of the day, we'll move forward and we'll have a better system, a better community, a better society, and maybe, just maybe, a better reputation. Because Mr. Tosin said that we're not hardworking, but if we have a better system, better government, maybe that reputation, that narrative can change in his eyes. Well, that's much can take on the conversation of today's segment. We are going to go straight to the quote of the day before we call it a day right here on the show. So Sharon, take us through the quote of the day.
The quote of the day is, peace is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of clarity. Peace is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of clarity, the presence of understanding, compassion, and the courage to resolve our differences without harm. So being at peace, it doesn't mean there will not be troubles that will come, there will not be chaos that will come, but the ability to clarify or resolve the differences without harm is true peace. And it's true peace we all deserve at this point.
Amazing. Anyway, that's much you can take today on the Morning Bus Show right here on Unico 103.5 FM, the only station that offers you the best education, information, and of course, entertainment 360. We love to call it a do infotainment. We do this with you every weekdays from 7:30 to 10 a.m. But today we just had to finish up early because we have other engagements. But be rest assured that tomorrow we'll be here, same time, same station, to give you the best education, information, and of course, entertainment 360. My name remains Igwe Valhencho. I'm signing out. I'll leave you in the hands of Tenny. This one says hustle. This goes to every Nigerian youth. Hustle so that they will not say that we are lazy. Very good. Have a good morning. See you tomorrow, same time, same station.